Let's dive into something pretty cool today, centered on one specific date, January 14th. Now, on the surface, it might seem like just another day, right? Especially a cold one. But what if I told you that this single date connects a small town in Minnesota, the birth of the United States, and a probe landing on a distant moon?
It all starts with a feeling, you know? Anyone who spent time in the upper Midwest knows exactly this kind of day. The sun's out, everything's glittering with frost, but man, that air has a real sting to it. That's the exact scene today over in Hastings, Minnesota.
So let's just hang out there for a second. Picture it. You're on the banks of the Mississippi, and we're going to zoom in on what's happening right there, right now.
Okay, so here are the numbers behind that bitey feeling. The high is only hitting 19 degrees Fahrenheit, but the real kicker? It's that wind coming from the north-northwest, whipping around at 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's what gives the air its teeth. And of course, by tonight, we're heading straight into the single digits. Brr.
So how do you even deal with a day like this? Well, the advice is simple, but absolutely essential. You've got to dress in layers. A hat and gloves are non-negotiable. And hey, you even have to think strategically about where you park your car so it'll start later. See? It's not just weather, it's a whole way of life.
I just love this line. It sums up the whole mood perfectly, doesn't it? The sun is technically on the clock, giving us that beautiful bright light, but it's not exactly putting in the effort when it comes to the whole keeping us warm part of its job description.
Okay, so we've got our cold day in Hastings locked in, but this is where things get really fascinating. That same date, January 14th, is like a thread pulling us through history. It connects how towns used to talk to each other, how a nation was officially born, and even how we humans reached out and touched another world.
So let's make our first jump. We're going to zoom out from today's weather report and rewind the clock, looking at a regional story from the 1800s. And here's the thing you got to understand. This was a huge deal. In 1846, for a river town like Stillwater, getting a post office was like getting high-speed internet. It was their connection to the world. Remember, these towns weren't just moving lumber and goods on the river. They were moving news, ideas, and building connections.
All right, let's zoom out again, but this time way, way wider. We're going from connecting a few towns along a river to the exact moment a brand new country plugged itself in to the rest of the world.
On this very same day, January 14th, but way back in 1784, the Continental Congress ratified the Treaty of Paris. Now, this wasn't just some dusty piece of paper. This was it. This was the final official handshake that ended the Revolutionary War. It was the moment the United States stood up and announced to the world, "We're here. We are independent." A totally new fundamental connection was made.
And now for our final jump. And it is a big one. We're going from building a nation all the way out into deep space. Honestly, this might be the most incredible connection of them all. Just stop and think about that for a second. On this day, in 2005, a machine built by human hands, the Huygens probe, actually touched down on the surface of Titan, which is Saturn's biggest moon. This was a monumental achievement. It sent back the first ever data and pictures from the surface, creating a direct, tangible connection between all of us here on Earth and this alien world we'd only ever seen as a tiny dot through a telescope.
So let's bring it all home. We started our journey today feeling the chill on a morning walk in Minnesota, and we ended it hundreds of millions of miles away in the outer solar system.
This journey just goes to show you the amazing layers that can hide inside a single ordinary day. We started with something you can physically feel, the cold in one small town. Then we expanded out to a regional connection between towns, then a national one that created a country, and finally an interplanetary one that reached across the solar system. The scale just keeps growing and growing. And that, right there, is the whole point. It's such a powerful reminder that history isn't just something that lives in books. It's happening all around us, all the time, layered on top of moments from decades and centuries ago, all sharing the same date on a calendar. The deeply personal, the grand and historical, and the straight-up astronomical, it's all wrapped up in a single 24-hour period.
So it really makes you wonder, right? The next time you step outside, whether it's a cold, pretty but bitey day or a warm, sunny one, take a second and think about it. What other stories, big and small, famous and forgotten, share this exact same square on your calendar? What incredible hidden connections does your day hold?